I was told that Lord Rothschild needs somebody to sort out his records for him. There were a few questions in that interview I wish I had asked now. Exactly how many records does he have would have been one of them. So at Waddesdon then, we have three main areas that I work across, each with their own chief executives, and we have a whole variety of directors beneath there. The Rothschild Foundation is the charitable arm, but it incorporates a number of philanthropic organisations, commercial enterprises, and of course our wonderful manor house that's managed through an agreement with the National Trust. We have an internationally renowned art and object collection, wonderful gardens. We have an aviary. Immediately I was worried when I saw the aviary. I've never dealt with zoological records before. We also manage the estate through our estate office. We manage something like 120, 130 residential and commercial properties. Normally as a records manager I'd come in and say, how much is your off-site storage costing? Can we digitise that? Where are your records? What are you doing with them? As soon as you work out that you're spending 11,000 plus hours searching for information in one of the areas that I mentioned, you've already purchased your document management system. It's a no-brainer. If you keep everything, I had calculated that we were keeping 168% of the records produced because of the number of copies. Never mind the fact if we actually wanted to keep those records. If you're keeping your records too long, you're not compliant with a whole raft of information compliance these days. The result is very poor information governance and no document control. The first thing an organisation is going to say is, this isn't really a bottom line cost. I would argue it is. If you're spending 11,000 hours searching for information, that's the equivalent at Waddesdon to 6 people's jobs. Improving information retrieval was absolutely essential, and that's where really for us one of the quick wins has been with Invu. Our quick wins, obviously we wanted to improve access, tidying the network drives, standardising procedures. I'm very jealous of people that are working in areas where you've got very defined processes, because we're actually putting a lot of those processes in place at the same time. Identifying our compliance issues is much easier now as well, because if you can't find the records, at least you know you've got something that you have to work on. Our returns on investment, we have a central filing system now. And that makes life so much easier. So when somebody says to me, I have a petrol pump licence, I know where it should be filed. When somebody asks, do we have an alcohol licence? If it's not there, we know that it should be directed there. And people are now beginning to speak to each other and say to each other, actually, it would have been much easier if it was an Invu. But our tenancy area is one example of where we get very fast retrieval. That provides us with much better customer service. I love the folder access for security. That's given our staff an awful lot of confidence that actually it's not just IT that have gone in and made some changes, it's actually managed through a change management process now when we need to give people access. Our business processes have been streamlined massively. We have a wine company and they've implemented purchase order processing, and we're about to implement sales order processing as well. So saving a lot of time, that time can be spent on business development now. Long-term management of our records, I would say, is now an achievable goal. 3 years ago, it absolutely wasn't. So that pleases the historic institution as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them later, and I'll pass over to Colin.